Welcome back, everybody. Let's go and get ourselves a ground-type move for... Oh, fuck off with this DLC shit. I don't care. Oh, yeah, there's new mass outbreaks occurring because, obviously. Oh, hey, one of them is Flittle. That's nice, at least. I mean, I do, in fact, already own a shiny Espathra, so... That's not going to make me want to go rush over there or anything, but... I do happen to be going that way in the first place, so... It's just not the target, that's all. But I may ransack a little bit and see if maybe, just maybe, there's something of value there. But I'm much more interested in finding some trainers in the desert to go and kick the heck out of to get some access to an earthquake TM. Yeah, see, it's a good thing I didn't choose to use Electro Ball there, because that would not have done much damage compared to... Well, I mean, Spark is not exactly doing a ton of damage for us either, but I would certainly think that Electro Ball would be weaker in a case like that because of the speed. Because, yeah, there's Rufflet popping a Tailwind twice. Yeah, just in case I haven't made it clear. Yeah, see, that's a pretty good use of the different material textures, which I've said before, tend to be a little bit mixed, but that is a very good use of it, and you get the nice reflective-looking Magnemite, and it looks, shall we say, correct. Because, to be honest with you, I think that's probably the judgment to be made there. Like, yeah, if I recall correctly, there's a Cacturn in the background, so we can't get a good look at it just yet. Not until we're done fighting this guy. But I seem to remember Cacturn being very, very reflective, which honestly doesn't make a ton of sense for a cactus. Like, it looks like it's made out of plastic. But no, Magnemite is real good. Dugtrio kind of looking a little bit like it's covered in felt. I actually like that. It's pretty good. Do I have a fighting move on this team? I don't have a fighting move on this team. Well, crud. I might have access to one by now, but I don't remember. I guess we'll just have to rely on the fact that Sandtomb is at least doing some pretty good damage. Because Dugtrio hits much better than it used to when it first was available. Plus, we got some good ground-type moves on our side. Pawniard is another Pokemon that I might consider getting in the team if I'm able to evolve into Bisharp and then eventually into King Gambit. A Pokemon that... Ultimately, did they need to give Bisharp an evolution? I mean, jeez. And yeah, see, look how shiny Cagnia is. That's a weird choice. Anyway, how you doing today around the wheel? Hope you're having a good day. And if anyone wants to roast me for only thinking about the Cacnea one and not being able to necessarily cite another example, it's because it's the first one that I could think of, and it sticks in my head, and has for basically since I started playing this game. Oh, that Tumbleweed is booking it. Thank you very much for the happy Trans Day of Visibility wishes, my friend. I appreciate it, Mr. Wheel. And there's a couple of Rellors. They are moving at a noticeable speed. And a Gimmighoul that I need the ability to climb to get to. Well, unfortunate. I guess we'll just have to leave that 1 coin behind. That's probably the one that spawns. It's worth like 7 or something. Or a little bit more than I'd like it to than just 1. There's Vampy and Domfan. Again, long-term fit. Ooh, almost ran right into that Dunsparce and the Palmos there. Palmies? There we go. It's Palmy, right? Because if it was Palmo, it would be a bit larger. But a very helpful description. I don't know exactly how much larger. Because I forget, but it would be larger. That's for sure. And here we've got a wild Terra Pokemon. I don't think I've ever pointed these out, but here we've got a Knuckle Stack with a unique Terra type. I think that one is Ghost type, actually, which is a pretty good choice, I feel like, for it. That's something that might carry you through a reasonable chunk of game, actually. So if you're out here and you're like, I don't know what to use, game's giving you a pretty good idea right there. There have been a few other wild Terra Pokemon that I just haven't referred to in any really useful way because I don't know why, and I don't have a good excuse for it. I apologize. Well, I mean, you could try climbing up that mountain yourself if you want to. And get into fights with wild Garchomp. Which sounds like a great idea for anybody who's a buffoon and doesn't know what a great idea is. So, sounds like a great idea for me, I'll tell you that much. Because I'm a buffoon who doesn't know what a great idea actually is. Anyway, we gotta fight 5 trainers out here in the desert in order to get this Earthquake TM that I am looking for. Yeah, see, this guy's listening to reason now, right? Because we got kicked off of our bike because of differing systems from the old days. Maybe it would be considered cheating because we would technically have another Pokemon out. So then it's like 2-on-1. Also, yeah, we got a Sunstone. Yo, hey, check out this just wandering Braviary. Shout out to Black 2 and White 2, where they gave you access to... Oh, look at the big boy in the background. Where they gave you access to a free Braviary on certain days of the week. I want to say it was Friday. And for those of you who are like, well, I don't remember getting access to a free... It was possibly a Mandibuzz in your version, because I want to say Mandibuzz was White 2 and Braviary was Black 2. I might have that backwards. My memory is not as good as it really could stand to be. So I forget which of the versions there, but it was a version exclusivity thing. Just like the birds had been in Black and White 1. And yes, also, speaking of which, White version, you couldn't find Mandibuzz or the baby form of it, Vullaby? Yeah, Vullaby. You couldn't find those in the wild anywhere. Or in a trainer's inventory either. Meanwhile, the same is not true of the Eagles in Black version, because there were trainers who had Braviary and I think Rufflet. So, bit of a strange bit of inequality there. Can you imagine if they had that bullshit going on with Diamond and Pearl, where seeing all 150 Pokemon of the original Sinnoh Pokedex was actually important to unlock more post-game content? People would be absolutely steaming about that. Granted, I kind of think there are more things to hate D&P over than that. So, I digress. Yeah, unfortunately, Hall Lucha is going to be a kind of a bad fight for us here. Not even just the fact that it's spamming Detect, but it does a lot of damage, and we have nothing that can hit this particularly hard. I think we can get a Rock-type move in the form of Rock Tomb, but I haven't done that yet. I will eventually, I swear it. So this guy is going to suck down a bunch of our PP because I've got to stop saying things like that. Yeah, he's going to suck down a bunch of our PP. Yeah, easy jokes. Easy jokes. Wow, something that accidentally sounded very inappropriate. Wow. Is our friend Stonejourner there. And we got a couple more Larvestas hanging around. See, I would consider Larvesta because I love Volcarona, which, honestly, among bug-type tastes, that's got to be, like, the most basic, right? Are there people out there like, ugh, I hate Volcarona? And the answer is yes, and they're competitive players who are sick of seeing the bastard, but I digress. Those don't count. That is an absolute minority of the Pokemon playing population for sure. But I mean, it's just a good design and a good Pokemon overall. Unfortunately, Larvesta evolves at level 59, so I think that might be Psyline. Plus, we also have a Fire type to start with already. Granted, that probably won't stop me from hitting a position where I'm like, oh yeah, let me load up my team with 6 Ghosts. But I digress. We'll see if that's what happens to me eventually. Oh wow, we just barely landed on the proper cliffside here. Well, I guess we would have been able to walk around anyway, but still. Cool, we got a full restore. That's right, soon I can become an Elite Four member. As long as I just start picking up a bunch more of them things. No auctioneers available for me yet. Do I have to... I probably have to beat Kofu or something like that in order to gain access to those. Which we will hash out later. But that adds a Meowth. And a Cyclizar going at, well, really fast speeds there. Heal up, because if nothing else, we need that PP back. Quite a bit. We got some Grimers out here. We've also got a Varoom. Varoom, the first Steel Poison type Pokemon. Which is an interesting type combination on some level. I mean, I don't know how playable it is, but it's an interesting one. So, I am trying to sit here and remember what exactly... Because I know I've seen a couple of fan designs of, like, Steel Poison Pokemon before. I'm trying to remember what the... Because there was one in Pokemon Uranium, I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was really, really questionable. And there were a lot of designs in there that were very much just like, fill out the sheet of unused typings kind of thing. That were not necessarily very clever, to put it nicely. I generally think that a lot of the ones that were done in the proceeding generations, pardon me, let me pronounce that word correctly, in the proceeding generations, like Gen 8, there was some sort of like, it was a poison electric type in Uranium, which was just like, oh, it's a slime eel, it's poison electric for some reason. And then you look over at Gen 8 and they bring in Toxtricity, which is an electric lizard that is outright has an ability called Punk Rock, and it's like, that's actually much cooler. You had multiple design elements there, and while I'm not here to say that a Punk Rock lizard is necessarily the sort of thing that somebody would intuit immediately, it's a smart design. It's a likable design. Meanwhile, Varoom is pretty all right. I mean, it's a combustion engine, and that's your poison steel. I think some people would probably be like, oh, well, shouldn't there be like some sort of fire involved? That I don't remember Varoom and Revavroom get any fire moves. If they don't, they probably should. I would say that. Well, it's Bulbapedia time, everybody. Mr. Rossetti wants to learn Sandstorm. No thanks, champ. That ain't gonna do nothing for us. Yeah, so Varoom doesn't even get like Flame Charge. And you would think that it would have a place for that somewhere in the move pool. I mean, sure, don't necessarily give it like Flamethrower or anything, but well, they gave Temper Flare to Revavroom, so at least that's got that going for it. But it is still kind of like, I would absolutely expect there to be a couple of fire moves in there. But a Steel Poison type, not a bad choice for something that, you know, belches out nasty fumes. A very long time ago, I was trying to design a set of Pokemon that would fit into some of those missing type combinations, and this was at least far back enough. Oh my lord, I actually started doing some of mine far back enough that Alolan Golem came out. And not just Alolan Golem, the rest of that line that were electric rock types. And I designed one that was like, it's a lodestone. It's a magnetic stone. That kind of sits in one of those like, oh yeah, super obvious kind of ones. And no surprise, that's more or less what the idea that they ended up using for Alolan Geodude and stuff. Even covered with iron filings, which is a common thing you would see for something like that. So I think the one I had was some sort of like machine that did some sort of chemical reaction. But I kind of think that what I would go with nowadays would probably be like a smokestack Pokemon of some kind. It'd just be like a turtle with a smokestack on it. And not the magic one. There's no Phyrexian technology here. That'd be horrible. For a variety of reasons. And when I say a variety of reasons, I mean, well, honestly, do we need more than one in that case? Anyway, let's try not to get ourselves run over or get hit by anything that pops in as we book it at Mach speed to go run around the desert here and look for a couple more trainers to fight, because I don't know where any of the rest of them are. We may need to actually forestall this one a little bit and come back at a later date when we have access to more navigatory abilities to be able to fight enough trainers in the desert. I guess it kind of makes sense in a way, because Earthquake is pretty strong, and for them to, like, give that away to you, that does seem a little bit too good to be true, doesn't it? On the other hand, we are at least getting pretty close to being able to buy Bulldoze. I checked what the other material that we need is, and it's from Sandygast, and we just fought one of those. Plus, I think there's a couple of shorelines where we can go fight more of them, too. So, we could get that, and that would be a good stopgap measure. Until we actually have Earthquake. But yeah, this kid's out here worrying about sand in the shoes. Now, let me tell you. I agree that that's not a whole lot of fun. And we got a Clauncher here. I'm feeling comfortable with just hitting this thing with a couple of slashes. It may or may not have something that can insta-kill us. Or it could just use Smackdown instead of doing anything on type. Maybe it doesn't have any water moves. It very well might not. So now we should need one more trainer to battle here. I just want to be careful that I don't trigger the next mission for the next battle here, because I don't want to... I'm not strong enough really to be able to deal with the Great Tusk here. I almost said the Totem Great Tusk, but no, that's not correct. I'm being dumb again. It's the Titan Great Tusk. I mean, they're both T-words at least, so I could be wronger than that, but let's not try to think about that. And hey, got a couple of Moonstones. That's cool. A little bit of soft sand, which is not quite just discount Stardust. Stardust already being discount star pieces anyway, but ultimately I don't think I'm going to need anywhere near as many as I'm going to accrue from just being in this area. So here we are. This should be number 5 for us. Leading off with a Capsicid. Yes, I'm pronouncing it that way instead of like Capsakid, which would fit in more with the capsaicin origin of the name, because it cuts off before the I involved there. But send in Oricorio. What type is your Oricorio going to be? Hopefully it's not the electric type. Okay, it's the psychic type, so that's great. I think we're doing in damage with our Electro Ball. Thankfully, Oricorio is low enough stats to cause it to die very easily, basically. Oricorio being another one of those sort of early in the game Pokemon that gives you a good type and some moves that are decent for the beginning of the game, but which tends to fall off very badly. I mean, the only move that it learns that's on type for its other type is Revelation Dance. And that's kind of by nature of the fact that it has to be able to switch that type. So, okay, if you give the Bila Oricorio Flamethrower, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for the Pom-Pom Oricorio. And etc. Which is kind of sad, but I understand why. I think at least let him get Heat Wave, though. Anyway, flying back to Cascarafa here to go and get this. Yep. That should be enough. And give me that Earthquake move. Yep. Fantastic. And I believe that gives us access to the ability to buy Earthquake TMs, but it's kind of going to be a while before that actually comes up. Fire Fang can be taught to Seabat, but we don't really need that right now. Same with Flame Charge. A couple of our Pokemon can learn Rain Dance if we really think that's valuable. I just want to get rid of those red spots on this. But for now, we're giving Earthquake to Doug Trio. Yeah, it updated for the TM machine being ready there. All right, and we've put our Magnemite up at the front. So we can now go and browse around for a couple of items real quick. And then try to figure out what we're going to do next, and more importantly, when we're going to do it. I mean, truth be told, our next target probably is going up against Iono, but I have to decide when we do that. Anyway, I'll send Magnemite out to go and pick up some bits and some experience. Not that kind of bits. I unfortunately cannot use these Pokemon to secretly get money. Not directly. You know, not in that way. Well, boo and earns. Let's go and heal after this. Oh, hey, look, there's a desert ostrich. you know, one of those Spanish desert ostriches, right? Come on, Magnemite, catch up to these slightly cranky birds. They've looked at the state of America and they're upset. And they are correct to feel that way, but I digress. Oops. Honestly, I could probably just waited and caught one of those, but... Nah. Nah. Let's clean these guys out. I'm waiting until I hit level 30 with my entire team to move on to my next goal, I think. And yeah, I'm just fighting these this way because it's arguably a little bit safer and inarguably quite a bit faster. Whee! Okay, do I want to go check out anywhere else to at least start getting a bit of a foothold on things? Okay, yeah, so I can't actually go over to the snow place very easily. Around back here is inaccessible to me at the moment. Might be worth hanging out at Levincia a little bit. And just take a look around the area. Find some interesting things if we can. Unfortunately, as much as I'm kind of charmed by the tumbleweeds, that doesn't count. Oh, is this guy going to sell us drugs? Oh, I get it. Ooh. Alright, I was gonna say, let's see how fast or not this pig is. Ow! Damn. Well, we did manage to paralyze it, so that's great. Unfortunately, I don't think this is a sustainable fight for me, so... we switch out here. Get Kefnet some experience. Some more experience, rather. Oh, damn. We are so close to actually getting this thing. And yet, now it's going to start digging. Well, I don't feel like switching, actually. So, let's feed you a super potion. About to send out another hog. We'll stay the course for the moment, and if we have to switch, we have to switch. Although, I mean, have to may often be a bit of a stretch because we have plenty of healing items. Ouch. Some pretty solid damage there. Yeah, so we're gonna switch in Rubik to take care of things. Gonna do some spell stealing and shit like that. Oh, wrong Rubik. Right. Sorry. And it's using Dig. Of course it's using Dig. And we're somehow faster than it. I'm shocked by that. The slowest pig anybody's ever seen, I guess. And it's hitting us with the old covet and stealing our no item. Yeah. That was a shockingly annoying battle. All considered. Tumbleweed here. Get a Magnemite. Although this is absolutely just a complete minefield for things with Pokemon, because... Excuse me. I guess at least we got some Rufflets out here. We can give them the biz. Trying to remember if Mandibuzz is in this game, actually, because now that I think about it, I actually don't remember. Yeah, right there, we got some more Fire Rocks. These are not going to play nicely with our Magnemite. I kind of wish that they would bring back the old style of the cries from before the 3D games. I like the sounds of a lot of the old ones. I mean, yeah, it's like, oh, hey, it sounds like a Game Boy sound chip. But I just kind of like those sounds, and I have a lot of nostalgia for them, unsurprisingly. Because, hey, I originally played Pokemon Red when I was like 8, 9 years old. Through an emulator. Because, yes, we had those back then. Meanwhile, nowadays, the youths are just like, oh, well, I can't pirate. That's illegal. Also, I don't know how to do it because I've never used a real computer in my entire life, just a phone. Breaks my fucking heart, dude. Hey, get that. Oh, well, good job, dude. I didn't realize you could kill those. Get that Ghastly. That's the more important thing. Rick Ghastly is going to pay for what he did to something or other. I don't know. Meanwhile, I didn't realize that these roly-polies were going to be this easy for EXP. Otherwise, I would have bought them a lot sooner. Meowth, however, might be a little less so. Growlithe, that thing is not going to give me time of day no matter what. We are not going after that. Get this item. That's a yes, actually. Get some energy powder. That was not worth it, but okay. Stronger one than that. There is a gimme ghoul. Can I get to it right now? And the answer is no. Shock. That's a move I've never really used because poison does tend to be a little bit lower on the scale of status effects in my experience. Plenty of water types here. Take down. Psyduck was thinking about it for a minute, just thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. Rattle 'em, boys! It didn't work. I was not rattled, boys. Got quite a group over here. We got some Choodles and we got a Dreadnought. Yo, excellent work, Magnemite, taking that thing out. I would have expected that I would have to switch to what's her normal name? Sarina, there we go. I expected I would have had to switch to Sarina on the front line there. Meanwhile, this Flamigo is looking quite like it wants to kick my ass, which it probably does. Magnemite wants Slimming. Alright, buddy. What did you attempt to learn here? Moves, remember. So it's some Thundershot? Unless it's Magnet Rise. Which case, I mean, Magnet Rise is a very useful move that I don't, of a type that I don't really like to use very much. Dawnstone. There's a few things in this game that evolve with Dawnstone. There's at least two. Firestone. We are really starting to rake in those evolution stones. Which is good because might need them eventually. Eventually. I don't know for sure. The Dawnstone is an interesting one from a naming perspective because the Japanese name means something more like Awakening Stone. So I feel like naming it like Dawning Stone would probably work better on some level, but it's one of those like, okay, that is technically a correct translation, but also it kind of isn't. Is I think your average fella is going to look at that and be like, oh no, that actually means, you know, whatever this means. Oh, hey, look at Larvitar. I feel like, yes, I actually do kind of feel like catching this. I can't really use a grass move on it because that'll just be big problems, but we can stomp it a couple of times. Now we just chuck balls until it works. Oh, hey, just one ball and got there. If there's anyone in the chat, which I don't necessarily suppose there is, anybody have an idea on what I should name this fella? This little rock-eating fella? Give it a couple of minutes and then I'll have to try to think. I'm still trying to piece together a good name on this one, because I mean, usually I just kind of think of like, oh yeah, I'll name it after a Godzilla, but everyone does that, and plus, otherwise my brain's just like, oh yeah, that's just Tyranitar. You can be tiny, I guess. It is only for the time being, but for now, we are sending Tiny to the boxes. I just kind of wanted that because it's like, oh yeah, hey, I see a Larvitar there. Neat. Let me add that to the old register. Because I guess in the back of my head, every time I see him, Gold and Silver kind of trained me a little bit to be like, hey, yeah, that must be like hyper valuable, because in Gold and Silver, the only place you can get him is the literal end of the game and into the post game, and it's at level 20. So using Tyranitar is a bit of a rarity in that game, because you're just never going to have much of an opportunity to. Drill Run. Drill Run, that's a pretty cool move. Do we have anyone who can use Drill Run? I highly doubt it. But I'm just curious, because it's like, hey, wow, a good move just lying around in a pile here. Anybody? Nah. That's alright. Should probably work on extricating ourselves from this situation a little bit here. Go back and heal, so that way we can go back to... Oh, yeah, to open the map. It's that button, not the other one. Whoops. Oops! Let's fly here. All right, now let's finish getting ourselves up to 30, and that should be good enough for dealing with Iono. Or at least I'd like to hope. I got a Wattrel over there. I didn't really use Wattrel or Killer Wattrel that much, but I do kind of like them just by virtue of the fact that they are electric flying types, and that's just one of the most usable type combinations in the game. What an incredibly, at least on paper, solid Pokemon. Get in here. Avoid the Cyclizar. Fight that thing. Bit of a mutual disadvantage there because neither of us can really do much damage to each other. At least not through that mode. I don't know, maybe this thing has some moves. The Tumbleweed Pokemon. Brambleghast. I was like, I could... Well, that one's just Bramblin'. The later versions of Brambleghast. Brambleghast is one of the very few Pokemon that I believe cannot be found in the wild. Out of Pokemon that are actually in the game, I mean, not... Don't be stupid. Yeah, leave that to me. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I figured that Squawkabilly was a little too fast for us to be able to try using Electro Ball on, so I didn't even bother. I mean, we could use Electro Ball and we get minimum damage or something. Now, however, we should be in better shape, I think. Yeah, because we'll actually outspeed it this time. Oh, they're mobbing me a little bit here. Up here. I hope these Squawkabilly feathers are worth using on something at least. Here, fight the Shuppet. Hey, it's lunch money. Might be saying to me, that doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't have any lunch money, and you're correct. Unfortunately, I have no further follow-up there other than, yeah, you're right. Is there not a Gimmighoul up here? No, this is a... I'd guess there would be. Well, so much for that. No Gimmighoul for us. No free money. No free points for us. Bathwater. What did you attempt to learn? Gonna be something good. It was teeter. Very nice. Oh yes, we can give it Power Whip to really, really lean in very heavily on the whole dominatrix vibe, right? Well, you know what? Say goodbye, Razor Leaf. We don't need that anymore. Drop Kick is the one that we use when we don't feel like gambling. And then Power Whip is when we're going all in and being as stupid as possible. Oh, hey, a Wild Rotom over there. Oh no, my attack. I actually use that right now. So my hope is that this still does pretty good damage. Yeah. That wasn't even a crit. I mean, it's currently locked into Uproar because of obvious reasons. I don't even know if it has other moves, to be honest with you. It might not. Hey, level 30. Excellent. And here comes our evolution. Up to... Yeah, that's right. We are using 2 Pokemon that just evolve into the same Pokemon, but a couple more. Kind of one of my favorite genres of Pokemon, really. I just think it's funny when it happens. Alright, Spark, that can go. See, it's even got a modest nature, too, so it knows what it's about. And that's using special attacks. Okay, do we have a better thing here? No, we just have Thunder Shock. Boo! I don't have any electric move TMs, do I? I mean, I know where I can get one, but Electro Ball is like my only one, isn't it? Front of the party, champ. Because it's about that time-ish. To go and actually do something. Pick up our X speed. This city used to crash, by the way. Like, apparently quite a bit. I've had it happen to me, but nowhere near as often as some people say it is, so maybe I just got lucky. In fact, that's most likely to be the case, because I feel like my experience with this game in general is significantly less bumpy than a lot of people have been trying to act like it is over the years. Which, again, is probably just me having very good luck, so don't necessarily take it as being too indicative, but minor counter-argument to some of the folks' complaints about how bad this game is. I don't think it's nearly as bad as all that. I do, however, still prefer the 2D style of games, and wish they would have gone back to that at some point, but whatever. What else is new? At least. Alright, so is Nomona challenges here? I forget. I know she challenges us at some point in this a couple of times. She gets a little bit over the top. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Unfortunately, we got to go outside because, you know, someone might have Steelix or something, which is huge. Alright, what do you got? A level 21 Rockruff, that's it? Am I over-leveled for this now? This is a bit of a concern, but, I mean, who cares if I am? Big whoop, right? And a Pawmi. That's another Pokemon that can be just eliminated with ground moves. And she's going to end it with the starter, who we just kind of burn out because as usual. You know, at least she's got the confidence attached to this to choose a Pokemon that is weak to ours, as opposed to the more recent rivals who have done that, who are just kind of like dumb. Except in Gen 6, where there's multiple of them, so somebody has to get saddled with a Pokemon that's weaker to yours. Just looked over at my other window. I saw someone on Blue Sky whose display name is Foaming Pipe Snake. I'm very glad for that, because that's just a phrase that's been trapped in my head since I was a child because of branding on a fucking drain cleaner. Foaming Pipe Snake, yes. Anyway, we didn't need our... We don't need no fucking... terastallization. We're way over leveled for this, apparently. Anywho, I hope she heals us. Otherwise, I have to go back to a Pokemon Center, which is a minor thing, but it would be nice, right? Did we get our PP back? We sure did. All right, let's do it. Yep, that's my name. Don't wear it out. All right, what's the deal? Starring in one of her streams. Yeah. They've got 2 games in a row now, basically, where they have streamer characters for some reason. Between Iono and the one from Zeta A that I don't remember the name of because I don't really know much about Zeta A offhand. And I don't remember a ton of the characters too much. Outside the brief blitz that the game got on social media. And I don't know how I feel about the quality of these characters. Just, they're not the most how do you do fellow kids that they possibly could be. But at times maybe a little bit. Also, kids, don't paint your Magnemites. I mean, at least those are obviously hair ornaments, and you can tell by the fact that they're so disproportionate. But on the other hand, she does have, like, extremely trans flag color hair and Magnemites. And some people will be like, actually, it's because of how popular those lighting colors, or, so, you know, somebody's saying something about bisexual lighting because of the, you know, that being as popular as it, and I mean, that's a whole other side story, but I digress. Anyway, Clavel is here, and he is just very, very confused. And we get to play Where's Waldo for him. Oh, I get it, because she's a VTuber because of her ridiculous styling. It's safe. Meanwhile, I'm over here just like, yeah, I'll say horrible shit and nobody will care because that would get people's attention. I just stream of consciousness. I don't even try hard or anything. Oh, he is... I think that'd be south part of town, as I'm taking a guess because... Well, I mean... Oh, so it's... We don't even have to walk around. Never mind. It's just the scan... It's just the look for things minigame from, like, anything. Or... I was about to mention something about FF14, but... That's only because I've played a bunch of those in 14, and I've played a bunch of 14 in general, really, so... Yeah, level 22. We are way over leveled for this. In fact, we might be safe to go take on the worm right away afterwards. But yes, if it weren't for the fact that I was this over-leveled for this gym, then that Intimidate from Luxio could probably not slow us down any, actually. Thank you very much, Doug Trio. Douglas Trio. MD. All right, let's go look for the guy. Yeah, I wish I could zoom in a little bit here. That's a Magnemite. That's a Rotom. I did zoom in a little bit this way. Oh, he's literally the guy behind the desk. I wasn't paying much attention to those because I thought they'd be the same NPCs as usual. Oops. Alright, let's give one more of these guys a swirly. There's not going to be enough to drain all my earthquakes between... Oh, Dynamo. Well, I can't even earthquake that, but Dynamo is weak as shit, so I can probably kill it with a single slash. Yup. But send out Flaffy. Easy peasy. As you'd expect, we're way over leveled for this, but I digress. Okay, well, we've got an Electrode and a Magnezone. That's not the most interesting combination. There he is. It's off on a boat, just barely visible. And this time he's wearing a funny set of glasses, ain't he? Super fast Electros. You are a buffoon. Electros is not that fast. Come on. That's not a thing. Okay, I was gonna say guy at the desk. Either one. Yeah. I was expecting an orange pop-up balloon to show up. speech bubble, speech balloon object. And for some reason, she has pointy teeth, which doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense for an actual human being, but... I digress. I don't think it would be the first time in the series, but... we'll be fine. Besides, the people watching us, not actually... There's a donor in the middle of 5,000. You got that from just selling random junk you found in the middle of the desert, didn't you? Oh, she starts with a Wattrel. I did not realize that she'd be leading off with a Pokemon that is immune to Earthquake. Because I've said before that her final Pokemon is immune to Earthquake because it's a Mismagius that she terras to Electric type, thus giving it no weaknesses. But I didn't remember any of the rest of the team. But send out Belly Bolt. We're going to just stay in and wait on that. Now, I've complained before about Alessa's gym and the 2 Emolgas that she uses. And then in this game, it's like, well, actually, I don't care that much about that because of any of... But I think maybe that's just because I think the Pokemon selection in this game is so good. There are so many Pokemon you can get that a lot of that doesn't even matter. And also the open-ended nature of it. I mean, listen, we're out here being wildly over-leveled, so it's fine. Okay, we're getting some pretty serious lag here. I think it's just this area in general has some serious problems. Because, yeah, this is in fact abnormal for this game. About to send out Mismagius. As we've said before, this is what we're putting up with here. And since it's going to turn Electric type instead of Ghost type, as we already know, we can just hit it with Slash. It won't be immune to normal type moves anymore. So just do that, and thank goodness that Dugtrio has pretty good attack power nowadays. More than it did in Gen 1. Plus, it's fast as hell. So we might even be able to do anything before she can. Without the use of priority, even. Nah, it's going to be a 2-hitter. But that's fine. Oh, it's going to be a 3-hitter? That's a pretty huge drop-off in terms of damage. What happened? I don't think we crit the first turn, did we? I've honestly forgotten already, so... I apologize for that. But yeah, confusion is not so much of a problem anymore because it's not a coin flip. It's much less of a chance for it to fail. So Confuse Ray is significantly less awful. And yes. Not very difficult. Hooray! Because we were wildly over-leveled. It's loading. We both do the goofball pose. Volt switch. That's not the one I was hoping for, but oh well. Oh, it's you, the Metal Gear villain. I mean, yeah. It's a Pokemon game. Geeta, chairwoman of the Pokemon League. Yeah, we'll see her again eventually. After we get the other 5 gym badges. But that's a while from now, so no need to worry about that yet. Yet. Okay, let's fly over to the top part of town. So that way we can go heal. And I don't know if there's more TMs than just the Volt Switch one that were added. There might have been some. I guess on paper it wouldn't be a bad idea to look up and see if there's some other good TMs for us to pick up. But for now, I'm not super concerned about that. I'm going to go find me a worm. And we're going to go fight that worm. Can't get up there yet. I have to climb. Or drop in on it from below. Ding dong, ding dong. Yep. Arvin is here to tell me about the worm. I mean, the same way that Orthworm usually stays hidden is how it stays hidden. You would think that people would, like, recognize that the Titans kind of just look like big versions of existing Pokemon. Because they're just big versions of existing Pokemon. I don't know, maybe people just really haven't seen these things, but I don't know. Jump out of these crates, right? Yeah, we just slip around a little bit. And get ourselves some more Gimme Ghoul coins. That's always fun. Excuse me. Like, I guess at least for the Desert Titan, it makes a little bit more sense for anybody involved to be like, what the hell is that thing? Because it very clearly is not just Pokemon. But I digress. It just would happen to look a lot like Donphan. It does. What am I thinking? Oh, am I using my words for incorrectly and poorly? Got just the right camera angle to make the big bike lizard disappear. That was one of those things that was memed on very heavily, where you would have people who would actually be in a position where it happened completely. And they'd throw some of that Crazy Frog music over it. Because I think that was a Crazy Frog video at one point. I'd say years and years ago, but obviously because it's Crazy Frog. That's not a thing that exists in the popular zeitgeist anymore, as it were. Nope. I don't want to say nobody knows what that is, because it's not exactly true. It's mostly old people like us who know what Crazy Frog is anymore. That's probably for the better. One of those weird internet legends that has become blurry. And I use the term legends in the sense of, like, or the slang term idea of legendary, not to imply that it's not real. Because obviously, yes, Crazy Frog was definitely a thing. For some reason that I don't entirely understand, but it sure was. Detect. Oh, this wild Pokemon is being annoying again. Oh. Boo! Nope. Hey, neat. I thought for some reason that we had gotten into another encounter and these just snuck in. Cool, we got the ostrich. I love this Pokemon a lot. Probably my favorite from this generation, and by probably I mean absolutely. Wants to learn Lumina Crash, so we're going to dump Baby Doll Eyes. Lumina Crash being a very powerful move because it just obliterates your opponent's special defense. If you don't kill them and it hits them, they basically are in the position of switch or die. It's pretty great. Go burn up his gumshoes real quick. Is this the area where we're fighting the worm, or is it a little else? It's elsewhere. Okay. Whoops. Can work on fixing that right now. Oh, there it is. There's this silly creature. Fire attempts to bump into it, but after one more try. God, look at this goofy thing. Although it has a really weirdly deep sounding voice. I love Orthworm. It's real goofy. punches the cave opening open with those tiny rubbery looking little arms that couldn't possibly hurt anything. What? Give chase and we go down the hole. And there you are, buddy. And it stops to bonk open another cave. I feel like give it a headbutt animation too. That seems funnier. Yep, it's eating another one of the special herbs. Special Herberts. Well, it sure is long. Have you never seen Orthworm before? They're not that rare. I mean, they're pretty rare, but they're not the rarest. Anyway, he's got a toadstool out front. Please don't use a ground type move, because that's a bad idea here. Well, thank goodness we don't even have to worry about that. We're just that strong. Good old flamethrower, and somebody's real happy. Nice hat. $36 is the evolution level, right? Maybe 37. Or a couple that had an evolution level of 37, I think. Usually 36. Yeah, let's pick up these herb bits here. One tiny plant. Or the dippy music. Really funny. I enjoy it quite a bit. Well, thankfully he doesn't make us have to do the sandwich, because it would look like a complete and total wreck. Oh, we did it. We did it, everybody. You again. Goofy thing. Just every time, just whoop. Yep. There's his sad dog again. And a very evenly squared off chunk of sandwich that he breaks off. And then he just pockets the rest. Neat, we get a high jump. Unfortunately, no climbing or gliding just yet, but hey. Yeah, so far. Oh, huh. That's interesting, I think. Oh, well, when you put it that way, it does sound a little bit more boring. Oh. More like he roughed, but good enough. There we go. He's getting there. Oh, he loves his dog so much. It's really sweet. Told you, it's a good story. That high jump should at least get us to a couple of new items. It's not as strong as of an upgrade as I was hoping, but hey, whatever. It's alright. You again. Press and hold the B button. Okay. And see, it gets at least a bit more height. Oh, actually, that's quite a lot. Never mind whatever I was saying. Ooh. Ooh. Something there. Couldn't tell if that was... I think it was an actual item ball and not a Voltorb, judging by the texture color. Because it was a pretty bright, vivid red color, but... I could be wrong. I've been wrong before about quite a lot of things, actually. So, this wouldn't be that much more unusual. But see, there's an earthworm. Kind of hanging out there. Get another low sweep TM. I don't remember if anybody in our team can use that, but on paper that seems kind of good. Ooh. Bump into a Diglett. Oops. I was just passing through, buddy, but I mean, as long as you're here. Oh, especially now that you've dealt damage to me, all bets are off. Get the fuck out of here, Diglett. Kaboom! You're toast, Diglett. I'm not taking any of that bullshit anymore if I can avoid it. Hey, a nugget. Nice. Those are worth a fair chunk of money. Unfortunately, I don't feel like money is as valuable in this game as in a lot of the previous Pokemon games, but still, it's something. Careful. Flashing the light. It's not nice for my eyes either, I'll tell you that. Oh hey, a non-water type on the water here. The Tadbulb. This thing is pure electric. I think I made a note of that earlier. But I mean, it looks like it could theoretically be water electric, I guess. But unfortunately, no. Ooh, Drain Punch. Very nice. That is a great move. That I don't know if I have anyone who can use it, to be honest with you, but on paper, that's a great move. Yeah, a couple of these crab rollers here, couldn't remember the name, and a Crabominable. It's hanging out in the wild here, fully evolved and everything. You're a long way from home there, Buster. Oh, crashed into Magikarp. Oh god, that reflecting effect. Alright, I'll turn the camera around so that way you don't have to see it. I'm sorry, that's a little harsh. Also, wow, we did like nothing to that Magikarp with tackle, comparatively speaking. I thought that went all the way through. I didn't see the waterfall earlier. Hadn't looked yet. Oh, I just saw Tadbulb's little head light up. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Do I have a water type in my boxes anywhere? I actually don't. Wow. I probably should catch one of those at some point. I mean, I guess I have this thing, but that's poison type, or is it just ground at that point? Oh, it's poison ground. Never mind. Oh yeah, I should probably change this nickname real quick before I go insane. Because otherwise I will forget that Hindenburg is spelled that way for both the leader and the blimp. Zeppelin. I don't think blimp is correct, really, and same with other, I mean, we understand what type of object it is, but let's be a little bit more specific about it. Anyway. Off we go. Let's go and not run straight into that thing would be a good idea. Let's go see if we can't find ourselves a water-type Pokemon. Growlithe. I'm trying to piece together mentally if I know where the wild Vaporeon is. Because, yeah, there's a wild version of each of the evolutions, but I mean, yeah, Vaporeon is the only one of those that's water type, as you've probably ascertained at some point or another. Because, I mean, that's a pretty decent Pokemon. Not all of the evolutions are good, and I tend to find that their move pools all suck, but Vaporeon is pretty alright. Honestly, I'm not really liking most of our water-type options just yet, but I think there's some better ones closer out to sea. A bit more out to sea, as the case may be. Let's just run away from this thing. I'm really not interested in Marini. Oh. We bump into a Basculin. That's also not something I really care too much about. Get some Sandcastle Ghost Sand at least. That's nice. Oh hey, there's the dolphin. Finizen is okay. The evolved form is pretty good if we decide to switch a bunch. Excuse me, but if I did that, I'd have to find somebody to log into the online part with me. Veluza. Veluza's not an amazing Pokemon, but I might give it a shot just for something a little different. Oh, look at these big-ass birds over here. And a Giga Impact TM. We should probably be real careful around this place. Grass Pledge. I said be careful around this place. Eesh. This thing's only level 20. Maybe the other Pokemon here are also only about level 20. I mean, we get sea travel pretty early on, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. This Water Pledge, this other one should be Fire Pledge, right? Yeah. The triple battle moves from the Gen 5 starters are just out here for some reason. Oh, there's a Floatzel in among those weasels. Apologize, I almost couldn't remember the name. I'll skip Bloom. I guess at least that means there's some Pokemon with some levels out here. Yeah, you're enthusiastic about Sunflora for some reason, huh, buddy? Unfortunately, it's your only Pokemon, so I'm going to completely eliminate it, and you have nothing else to serve as backup. Oh well. As your realization slowly kicks in there, that you lost. Took you a second. Squawkabilly, apparently, but probably some other Pokemon too. Yeah, that was Kamala. For a second, I was like, is that Timber? I couldn't remember what it was called for a second, but I remember it evolves into Conkeldurr after some levels and a trade. Is of course. Whoa. I wanted to go back and get that Gimmighoul. But we're not going to be allowed to, are we? And what's that? That's an Arrokuda. I am not that interested in Arrokuda. Oh, well, there's one right now. I'd be like, hey, I heard you talking shit. Not quite, but get out of here anyway. Yeah, it's going to be a two-hitter because our physical attack ain't all that, but also at least we get the flinch then. Got some Shelder hanging out. We got a wild Gyarados. The Quillfish down there. I wonder what it would take to get that thing to pop up and try to get us. Wonder if it'd be worth fighting that, worth going for those Gyarados. Because, I mean, water types are pretty good. Gyarados has always been solid. And then we skip over the Magikarp phase, which we don't necessarily need to do, but make our lives a little bit simpler. Ooh, oh, Shellos. Couldn't place it at first because I'm so much more used to seeing the purple one. I swear, like, every version of these games that I've gotten, it's the purple Shellos that I see every time. I have no idea how it happens that frequently, but here we are. Oh, hey, look, it's Sandygast. Go get some more of those sand particles, because we'll need them eventually. Probably need them eventually anyway. Oh, hey, look, it's Slowpoke. Now, Gauss, you have Thunder Wave, right? Yes, it's got Thunder Wave. It's got a bunch of other stuff. So put it up front and use it to help us catch some sort of water Pokemon. Ooh, Surf. Very nice. Unfortunately, I pretty much know that nobody in my party can use that, so... we are not even going to look at that for now. Okay, so I guess if we really want to go and try to get Gyarados, we want to go around the other edge of the island here and ram into this Weasel by accident. No, Weasel, I don't like you very much. What level are you? 22? We're going to be slower than this, probably. No, we actually outspeed it, so... Electro Ball damage should be pretty good. Plus, Weasel is kind of a glass cannon anyway, so... it wouldn't really want to live through that. And it wouldn't really be able to either, so... whatever, I was just saying, I said it wrong. But... I only arguably kind of rescued it in the end. Magikarp, not interests me right now. Later, nerd. I'm off. goldfish. Oh, here we go. And do long chuck. I don't think that's going to count as catching it off guard, unfortunately. Yeah, nope. But still T-wave it. Hit us with brine. We don't have to worry about that. Our HP is high. Alright, let's dink it with some gyro ball. That should do almost nothing. I mean, I guess we're still quite a bit faster than it, so... Oh, man. Try to do this better. Nice. And, I gotta think for a second. Is there a different water snake other than Leviathan in certain, RPG? Oh, I've got an idea here. Something to upset the PSO fans a little bit. As I suppose Mr. Rossetti is going to go into a box for a little while, because we shouldn't need that for a minute. I mean, truth be told, we don't really need a water type for a minute either, but... What? I lost control and spun out a little bit there. It almost felt like I was having ice physics because I was going so fast. And I was just like turning instead of properly hitting the brakes. That felt so weird. I mean, honestly, that's not like a gameplay problem, don't worry. That's just me doing my inputs funny. And getting funny results as a consequence. They really faced me opposite of where I wanted to go. It's not like they knew, but... A couple of Pelipper's hanging on top of this house for some reason. They just kind of sit and watch. You know, a lot of this music really does all kind of feel like just variations of a very small number of notes. Which just... We got Doggo and we got an Iggly buff there. There's a Ralts. A Ralts. Anyway, I think south of Los Platos is a place I want to go to try to find certain Pokemon. Or I'm certainly trying anyway. How many Gimme Ghoul coins do I have, actually? Come to think of it. Plenty of this stuff I could sell for money if I ever need. 222. Okay, so we're like 2/9 of the way there. We're not quite a quarter of the way there, but we're a little over 2/5. A fifth, rather. That's a little different. Oh, hey, there's our Oricorio Pom-Pom. When I first played this game, I ran into one of those really early, and I caught it because I was just like, yeah, that's actually a nice Pokemon. It's a flying electric. That's pretty rare. Which, first of all, ha 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 ha. And second of all, I don't think I use it for very long, because, I mean, it's kind of cool. But it does have its... Oh yeah, this is the place we were... Oh, take a look at. That is actually walkable. I was uncertain for a moment. And we get Phantom Force as a TM. I think Phantom Force only has like 90 power or something though, but it's basically a ghost type dig. More or less anyway. I mean, not literally, because Quake doesn't damage you while you're using it, but it's the same type of idea. What was that right there? It was just a Hoglin that we didn't have a good view on. A good Gene Hoglin, you know? Name I keep invoking. Gene Hoglin, by the way, is a drummer. He is a metal drummer. He's been in a couple of bands. The only one I can think of offhand right now is Fear Factory. I'm pretty sure Gene Hoglin was in Fear Factory. Translator's note, not a DKC reference. I don't think, anyway. I've actually never looked that up. I think it's just that they were kind of an industrial-flavored sort of alt-metal band, if I recall correctly. So that just kind of fits with the sort of the vibes a little bit. I haven't listened to Fear Factory in like 20 years at bare minimum, so whatever I'm saying right now, it doesn't mean a fucking thing. Even less than anything I usually say. In fact, I am going to open Wikipedia right now and look into Gene Hoglin. Spell that correct. Oh, he was with Testament. But he was in Fear Factory. Yeah, industrial metal band. They were known for a period as Fear the Factory in 1990, so that definitely predates Donkey Kong Country. So if it is a DKC reference, that doesn't make any sense chronologically speaking, and we have a bit of a time traveler breach on our hands. Which means that any day now, the cops will be showing up to go and stuff those guys into a lead-lined locker of some description. But also, goddamn, they were founded in 1989. Under a different name, but still. Almost 40 years that group has been around. Off the top of my head, the main thing that I can think of about Fear Factory whatsoever that I know is them lending a song with the same title, or perhaps it was even made for this game, a song called Frequency for a rhythm game also, as you could tell by the fact that I said of the same name, for a game called Frequency that I believe was made by Harmonix back in the PS2 days. And I remember that mostly by virtue of the fact that my brother had a demo of it on a demo disc. Y'all remember demo discs? Maybe you do and maybe you don't. But I'll tell you this, they did exist no matter what. Yeah, I don't need to be over here right now. I should head on back over to Cascarafa, and we can go heal up, and we can get prepped to go fight the gym. Oh yeah, and that's right. That's where the first of these bases was, and then for some reason, the second one is much easier to get to. Anywho, let's go deal with this guy. Yeah, we got these elevators, and these are cutscenes every time. Yeah, oh, look at this guy. He's got a lot going on. Buddy. Good question, Mega Man. What's your, what's going on? Yeah, we can take Wallet. Got a Venonat themed wallet. That's pretty good. And yeah, they want us to head over to Porto Marinada. So go up into the north. Unfortunately, you can't really just go down this way without also triggering the cutscene. Even if you were to just jump over things, I don't know what the deal is. Or maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I guess you actually can jump down those. I think it's something like you can't climb them. Oh. And you're a bunch of Tauros. They're not going to be happy about that. Hooray, the pinch berries that aren't really very useful anymore. The pinch healing berries. They were massively powerful in Gen 7. Nowadays, significantly nerfed. Because they were actually just, like, really gross in Gen 7. I mean, ooh boy. And magical leap, yeah. Don't really need that, I don't think. I don't think anything we have can want that except for Tsarina, so... Oh god, I didn't even see this thing is level 51. Jesus. Yeah, we should not be here, but that was a bit of a mistake. Experimenting with PCSX2. That... Well, I generally find PCSX2 is pretty useful. It's a very good PS2 emulator. Under most circumstances, I think. I guess let me know if you find things that you have problems with using with it or something. Oh, neat. Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to live through this, but we're making an attempt anyway. Yeah, it's Dragon Dancing, all right. Yeah, stuff like that can have issues sometimes. It can get a little bit weird. Anyway, thankfully this Gyarados took itself out. Still get the same amount of experience, so hey. It just takes a little bit of the edge off there. The concern. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense a little bit that we're fighting some very high level stuff. We're near the lake, aren't we? Are we on the wrong side of... No, we're just the south side of the lake, so... Yeah, ultimately, we've definitely taken a long way to get to where we're going, but... I mean, hey, as long as we remain careful in this area and we find a couple of good places to jump elsewhere... I think I saw that there was a suggestion that there's a bridge here, right? Yeah, it's way further up, but there is a bridge to get back to where we're going. We'll fix this. Plus, I mean, that Gyarados was worth a chunk of experience. A good chunk, too, so... Gladly take that. Throw out a couple of super potions for it, whatever. We get tons of those things in this game. Lord of the Rings, The Third Age. I do not know which game that is, so... There's a lot of Lord of the Rings games that I do not remember very well, unsurprisingly. There's a lot of video games, period, because... A lot of video games, period. Turn-based. Okay. Well, neat. Grassy terrain. Interesting. But yeah, here we are, finally. We're in this area, and then we can go heal up, and we can jump off in that direction. Yeah, I thought it was like an automatic cutscene or something. Hey, dude, you dropped your Benanat wallet. Oh, I forgot that he's actually got, like, two-tone hair, and it's not, like, just shadowing and everything. I mean, we could just show him the wallet and be like, hey, yeah, he dropped this. You don't have to immediately get into a fight over it. We could do this in a sensible way, I swear. Unfortunately, his Floatzel is going to absolutely just outspeed us because Floatzel is very fast. But thankfully, a little bit of Thunder Wave will help us out there. But send out Clauncher. Clauncher would be significantly slower, I think. Anyway, easy fight, as hopefully is to be expected, I guess. Hey, nice. Be out our Skeledirge. Let's learn Torch Song. Yes, Torch Song is a pretty good special move. A little weaker than Flamethrower, but it boosts your special attacks, so I'll actually dump Tackle for that. Like to keep Flamethrower as a bit of our comparative nuke. Yeah, drop this, buddy. And he's the usual overzealous goofball. Get over there. is that? That's something anyway. Get the winning bid on that seaweed. All right, dude. Whatever you say. Yeah, you tell me what... You tell me what kind of budget I get out of this. Gives us 50 grand. I mean, hey. With a little bit of luck, it'll come in under that. Plus, I got plenty of money. I should be able to eat this, yeah. Hell with it. We'll go all the way up. Yeah, only 40K, so we didn't even spend his entire budget. Not bad. Scared the hell out of him, mostly, more than anything. Yeah, most of our money gets spent at the auction house in this game. At least for me. I usually use it to pick up some very obscure items, such as the Apricorn Pokeballs on the occasional, very rare occasions where they show up. Also, yes, I did see his fishing joke there. I just chose to not acknowledge it. You guys all saw it anyway. He's got Hyper Potions, Repeat Berries, Kelpsy Berries. If you go after some of the generic items, you'll usually be able to get away with getting them for cheaper than you would if you just straight up bought them. But I don't find that you usually need too many of any of those, and you'll just pick them up as you go. So it's probably not important to bother with those. But they are there if you want, or even, God help you, need them. In any case, we are plenty prepared to go and deal with the gym because we've got two Pokemon that are very strong against Kofu's main type. Plus, that should help us get a good chunk of experience for Gyarados, who is probably going to be our main Pokemon that we use to deal with the fourth Titan, if we are able to, because that is a ground fighting type. Yeah, see, at least this town doesn't seem to have music that's just the same leitmotif as we've had for literally all of those routes and Los Platos. And probably several other places that I've forgotten, but I forget a lot of things. Hey, it's Hassel again. And there's Rika here also. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. I never really look at her... I never really looked at the design of her tie. That's an interesting thing that she's got going on with the triangle and that. average trainer abandons the challenge at roughly this very point, if you say so. Whatever you say. Yep, I sure did. Yeah, let's do this. Let's see what he's about, other than water types. You already know about. Long loading screens. Like, unusually so that time. I think it's because Cascarafa is another very high load area. Because of its awkward map style. He gets crowded by a bunch of everybody. Hey, he looks like he'd be a big friendly guy anyway, you know? A lot of friends in town. Alright, let's do this. And yeah, he's leading off with Veluza, the one he likes to talk about a lot. Well, let's see what you've got going on here. Level 29, so my expectations are not necessarily that high. I'll start off with the T-Wave, just to make sure that our speed difference is as large as possible here. And he's going to hit us with an Aqua Cutter. Ouch! Although Veluza has sharpness as an ability, so the damage on moves like Aqua Cutter and that are going to be boosted anyway. Plus, I think it's a high crit rate move. So that's pretty devastating. Meanwhile, he's got Wugtrio up next. I am not really terribly worried about this thing. Wugtrio is very fast, but it's not exactly a super powerful Pokemon. Although Mudslap is pretty annoying to have to worry about. Wugtrio uses Dugtrio's stats, and in fact, I think it's Dugtrio's old stats. Being that it's a convergent evolution type of Pokemon. That should be a surprise to nobody. But it went down in one hit, as you'd expect. And he's about to switch in Crabominable. The Crabominable Snowman. He's gonna give us the business, or probably not, actually. Now, of course, we know what he's about because he's just going to Terra Water it. But that's not really a very, impressive change, really, for Crabominable. It's not even necessarily the most... I'm just saying that I don't really like the way this gimmick is used for these sorts of things. Like, this one feels pretty boring in particular. At least Iono with Mismagius is kind of neat. Because it eliminates Electric's big weakness. Meanwhile, I'm way overdoing it by going for Power Whip here. Plus, we got a crit. We're just going for a massive overpowering for no good reason. But hey, if it works, it works. And that is our 4th gym done and dusted. That's a pretty fun picture, actually. And we get Chilling Water. This is a special move, I believe, that lowers the target's attack stat. This is new for Gen 9, which has not really been the case for a lot of these moves. Actually, what was the one that we got from Katie? I forgot already. Trailblaze was new, though. But in the back of my head, I'm just like, yeah, most of these TM moves are old hat, aren't they? That's right, Nimona, you are a little bit late. As we had some updates, and yeah, Gyarados didn't really gain a whole lot of levels. There wasn't much experience to be had there, though. That was like 2 fights. Actually, I can give Pokemon TMs from in here, right? Yeah, use TMs to learn. So this should give us only the set of things that are available to it. So we can give you low sweep without having to think too much about whether or not we would be able to even do that. Dump rapid spin for that. We'll keep 2 grass type moves for now. That works. Now, how about you? Do you have moves that I can you that'd be good? I mean, we don't have access to like Shadow Ball or anything yet, so a little bit limited in that regard. You? I think Dazzling Gleam is the main good one that we can get for Espathra, who unfortunately does kind of have a limited set of good TMs, but that's just how it goes. We'll dump Gyro Ball for Flash Cannon on Magneton. Doing the lead. You know what, let's go ahead to Koskarafa North. We are actually going to see if we can take on the Titan. We've got a pretty good set of Pokemon so far. So I'm feeling like I can take that on. I can be a little bit sassy about this. As we wait for our resources to load in here, because things are chugging slightly. Choose Pokemon for moves. But you. So you might have access to... No, just Earthquake. No Bulldoze for us. Wait, yeah, Bulldoze. Never mind. You can get that. Use that bulldoze. What else can you learn? Got access to Ice Fang. You already have Ice Fang, right? Waterfalls. Well, we can teach it bulldoze. Otherwise, our TM options are kind of limited for Gyarados. Magneton's TM availability. We do not have access to Thunderbolt yet. We're going to have to go further into the Team Star story for that, I'm sure. So, I guess you already have... We got some moves here. We could teach it Foul Play. I mean, the exact usefulness of that would be kind of situational. But it is something, isn't it? You can learn Hex. It's not a very strong move, though. Plus, I can't even make that yet. I don't have the materials. At you, buddy. You can also learn Disarming Voice, which makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon I really need to farm materials from at some point. But we'll worry about that later. For now, we're going to heal, and we're going to go and try to take on the big, weird-looking Donphan and see if we can beat it. This one might be an actual challenge, because I have a feeling we're going to be under-leveled for this time. I'm really taking the long and horribly indirect route here, but by that I mean it's not even a proper route, it just kind of goes around. Oh, there's a Chansey there. That seems pretty good. Let's try to fight that real quick. I was worried there. I thought I almost threw myself off the cliff, but I did not. Gyarados, you should have some physical moves to fight this thing with, which is what you need to fight Chansey with, and Waterfall will do pretty good for us. Yeah, that's not quite a two-shot, but pretty close. Oh yeah, we're not even going to see that HP bar move on Chansey. Eesh. Literally, the Sandstorm did more damage to us than Chansey did. By 1 point, but still. Very funny. Very, very funny. Give me your big pile of EXP. And let me learn Crunch. That is pretty great. I guess I don't need Brine anymore. Now, the problem historically with Gyarados has always been it just doesn't get flying moves, which I guess kind of makes sense because there's not really a lot that suit it very well. And I'm sure some people will be like, oh, well, Gyarados would be better if it were a dragon. And I mean, honestly, kinda, yeah, but I think that ship unfortunately has sailed, and I think I like. First of all, I like Megados as a dark water more than I like it as a water dragon. I think that's arguably kind of more interesting. But also, man, water dragon would be a really busted ass type for it. I also don't really know that it has good physical dragon type moves either, or the option to get any, because it really can't get Dragon Claw on account of not having any fucking claws. Honestly, the best fix for it would be to just give it a signature move in that regard. But yeah, it's just kind of a fraught thing in general. Never mind the idea of changing a Pokemon's type when it's not for the release of a new type is a thing we've never seen before, as far as I can remember anyway. And it's a little bit strange. Also, I have the wrong Pokemon in the lead here. Which is not a great time, but we did get that Intimidate going, so that's pretty solid. Alright, we'll switch Bathwater back in. Again, that remains one of the funniest suggestions anybody's ever sent me for a Pokemon name. And it's just using Rapid Spin, although, oh baby, that thing still hits like a truck. Even with being intimidated. And Brick Break, ouch! That's not so good. Let's chug a Hyper Potion. I think Fresh Water is less than a Super Potion, so we don't really have anything that really hits us in the sweet spot there, so that's a problem. Ooh, getting a little close. Getting a little bit close. Okay, yeah, that's an attack drop, which would be kind of helpful here. As it is once again spinning up. Yeah, those things have been nerfed pretty significantly. Although I guess 70 HP is pretty close to a full heal. Giving a living fruit something that is a drink that appears to be made of, at least partially of fruit, seems like a strange choice, but hey. Does that count as cannibalism? Probably not. Anyway. It's gonna get the fuck out of Dodge. And it didn't go very far. Find it. It was literally still in our draw distance when it moved. Come on, game. You're stretching the use of the word find a little bit there. It just slams open the wall. And it eats some more herbs. Well, actually, Retro, no, it isn't. And that's the problem. The draw distance is too long. It's a problem for it because it makes a lot of things not look good. Yeah, because you see a bunch of stuff that is moving at too low frame rates. It ain't great. Well, I mean, a big part of it also is just that, like, so, rendering aside, I'm pretty sure the whole fucking world map is constantly loaded into memory. Because they weren't really sure how to do that part of open world properly. Oh yeah, this thing is fucking good. Plus, again, it learned Lumina Crash, so, like, our next hit is probably gonna kill. Although I do say that under advisement, it might not. But it did just split its special defense in half, so it was... Well, actually, the calcs are a little hard to do because Arvin landed a Razor Leaf with Scovillain, so yeah. That was a little bit concerning on paper, but ultimately, I was definitely underleveled for that, but it turned out to be pretty simple. Like hell, our second fight was much easier than our first. Yeah, I mean, are they supposed to get a power up during the second battle to make them kind of like totem Pokemon? Because if they do, I never am able to really hash it out. And on top of that, 2v1 battles, like just having a numbers advantage, even if Arvin ends up being completely tit useless in any of these fights, which, like, he was actually pretty handy here. He did some damage, and he applied Scary Face, which was just enough to actually make a difference in terms of speed. But, like, even when he's completely useless, he is also another target. And just having a numbers advantage in a Pokemon battle, the numbers and stuff in terms of, like, your stats and everything are such that the sheer effect of that is massive, even compared to a lot of other games. Anyway, he gives us the ground badge, right? It's the ground type icon. You know, all of them are just like the type icons, but with, you know, on a metal. I kind of wonder in universe when, how, etc. any of these type icons were standardized for any particular region. And some of the ones that are a little bit strange, like the steel type icon, I kind of wonder, like, who decided on that. Although, I guess, what do you do for steel type otherwise, right? It's a cluster of steel plates. It's just a slightly bizarre shape. Every Pokemon in this, Yo, we got gliding. I thought we got, climbing before that, but hey. I mean, that could be, which is an unusual thing to think about, but hey, why not? Right? What's up? Oh, right. I mean, I guess the idea of Pokemon being traumatized is something that I don't think has ever really been explored in the franchise outside of it. Maybe somewhere in the anime, but, you know, not in the mainline games, that's for sure. Don't do that on the rug. Oh wait, no, there's no carpet here. Never mind. Yeah, but unfortunately, my friend, we are definitely going to be waiting until our levels are a little bit more in the 50s before that. Oh, they're becoming friends. Unfortunately, I don't think Arvin would be able to fly around on his dog. He's not from the Neverending Story, right? Yeah, I mean... Yeah, we can glide. We can get places. Unfortunately, we can't get as many places as I was hoping, but I mean... To be fair. Climbing is kind of a thing that just breaks navigation a little bit, so maybe it should take a little while longer. From a game balance perspective, which... I know, the idea of talking about Pokemon and game balance is a little bit like... We're all kind of throwing up in our mouths a little bit right now, because... That's not much of a thing, but hey. Yeah, this is a Pokemon that would be an issue for us, in theory, but Disarming Voice should be enough. We've got a 13 level advantage, plus this thing is pretty strong. Just as a Pokemon, so it'll be fine. Whoop. That's probably not the choice here, but oops. Donphan used Rollout, but it's only doing 8 damage, because Rollout's not that strong on the first hit, as we all know. Unless it's being used by Miltank for some reason. Well. I'd say I haven't really had problems with that in a while, but I've also always basically been prepared for it since. So... Not necessarily the most equitable comparison there. You know something, we're gonna try to work on unlocking some more locations we can get to, I believe. So if we go here, Colonnade Hollow as it is. I did not know that was the name. Let's just start heading off to the east here. And again, start sort of exploring some new locations. Just to wrap things up here with the amount of stream time we got left. We got some Salandits in here. If I recall correctly, a shiny Salandit is white, so I could tell those were not offhand. Although my shiny luck is not great in general, so I may be thinking about that a little soon. And this guy just has a Flaffy. He's not rocking a whole lot. Not a lot of trainers with many Pokemon in this game, as I think I've alluded to before. Very odd. And a little bit sad, in my opinion, because... Granted, I suppose you don't want battles to necessarily be super duper long or anything, but... At least there'd be some more challenging content, right? Oh, hey, it's Noibat. Kind of like Noibat, Noivern. They're fun. Although another Pokemon that evolves super late, so... It would probably end up being a little bit dead weight in our party for a while. Noibat's problem is that its stats are miserably low. In fact, I think your first form starters have More stats. I could be wrong about that, though, so don't necessarily take my word for it. Gyarados, start cleaning things up here. Get yourself some EXPs. Some EXP points, as it were. Which always feels wrong, as I've said before, even though EXP does just stand for experience. It feels like it should be an ATM machine situation, though, right? I mean, clearly not. Oh, we got Gibble and Gabite over here. Eh. Maybe another playthrough. I don't really dislike the Gibble, Gabite, Garchomp line that much. They're okay. Hey, I was gonna say, are you having an issue with the incline there? Probably. As I said before, things can be a little bit crunchy with the let's go mode navigation. Stealth Rock. Definitely somewhere out of the way, so it makes a little bit of sense in its own sick way. But hey, here's a Gimme Ghoul. That's right, I'm here for your not nearly as many coins as I need, but dang it, we'll take them anyway. Oh, it got some speed out of the deal there. Oh well. That's fine. And in fact, even with it being level 50, it's not going to last long. Yeah, Gimme Ghoul hasn't really got impressive stats. I mean, it's tanking decently, but that's about it. I don't even know if this is going to be worth a good amount of experience or not. Yeah, honestly, not really. But hey, 60 coins. That's pretty decent. Get to that thing. Oh no, that's just one of the names. We're gonna leave those alone until later when we find out what those are. Dragon Pulse. Yo. Dragon Pulse probably can only be learned by Gyarados out of our team though, so not quite as cool as it sounds, but not bad anyway. Oh hey, there's a Garchomp over there, a Terra Garchomp. I wonder what level that thing is. It's probably really high. I probably shouldn't fuck with that. But I am kind of tempted. It wasn't hard to get to. That guy will probably be a slightly tougher trainer than usual. Where are we compared to any... Well, Medali is just down the road there. Little bit, but not far. Not far at all. Hey, neat. Get a coin. Goroth, there's a wild jump off there. Find wild just about anything in the game. Oh, and there goes Sudowoodo. Yeah! Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I got a good capture of that because it is funny as hell. Look at him go. Just, he was bailing out so hard. He wanted none of this. I don't really blame him, to be honest with you. Yeah, we got a lot of Tropius here. A lot of Tropius. Tropios. Tropius, you know. Bananas. Monkey food. Oh, banana. DK64. That's a video game. God, I gotta imagine if I streamed that these days, how insanely effing long that would be. Eesh. Eesh. That'd be rough. That'd be some rough business. Here we are at Medali. Let's scope the entire Pokemon Center real quick, looking for gimme ghouls, and we find none of them. Let's get some healing. And you know what? I will go back and take a look at that Garchomp and see what kind of a level that thing is at. I have a feeling it's going to be a little high level for us to be able to catch with any significant ease. Ooh, an electric seed. Interesting utility item that I don't have much use for here. But hey, it's interesting. That much is hard to deny. Water Pulse. It's handy. Put Gauss up at the front here and take a look at where I am compared to the place I'm going. I've wildly undershot it? Yes, okay. Right, so the dirt path up to Medali is just that long. I forgot. Although I guess I wasn't really paying great attention either, so saying I forgot might be slightly less accurate than you might like it to be. Ooh, a Comet Shard. That is valuable. Good stuff. Okay, that drop down looks like it would go right on top of that. There is another, like, vent hole over here, because we can jump to that through normal means, which is why there's a part of me that's like, I really do not expect that to be the most disgusting Garchomp you've ever seen. But my guess is as good as anyone else's, really. Anyone else's who doesn't know the game offhand. Oh, right, because this was to get to the nail. As I said before, I'm not really that interested in finding the nails right now. They're called something else. They're called, like, stakes or something, but in my head, I'm just like, nails. And the reason why I'm not messing with those is so that way I can deal with them a little bit more easily in the future by pulling up a map and not having to be like, oh, which one of these did I remove or not? Because there's an interactive map for those on Cerebi, which is what I'm probably going to use. Huh, water type. That's unexpected. But that does mean that we can easily T-Wave it, and it's level 65. Good Christ. That is way more than I was thinking it would be. That is what you would call a problem. And I don't have any fairy-type Pokemon on my team right now. I own some, but they're not in my team right now. So we're probably going to get wiped by this thing if I have to guess, because it would make sense. But that's kind of a shock because this is so easy to get to. I wouldn't expect this to actually be that high of a level. High level? Sure. 65? What the fuck? That's like... Even in the post game, you don't see those levels very much. If I recall correctly, anyway. From wild Pokemon, I mean, not trainer Pokemon. But yeah, that was significantly nastier than I was expecting. Again, I was expecting it to be rough, but I wasn't expecting it to be level 65. Level 32 Chansey, that's much more my speed. It's going to take a couple of hits to take out with Bite. But that's because Seabat's physical attack is quite low. It's much better at special attacking. Unfortunately, Chansey is much better at taking special attacks, and to so much greater of an extent that this is actually the fastest way, I swear. Nice. Wants to learn Shadow Ball. Hell yeah, fuck yeah. Give me that. You give me that, give me that, give me that. Fuck you, Bite. I don't care. Don't really need a special attack anymore, or a physical attack anymore, rather. And Rain Dance, I double inputted. Whoops. Thank you, D-pad. You've done the kingdom a service, but thankfully we can just press B and get out of there, and the thing will have nothing to say about that. Well, let's go heal. The NPC's having some problems. That's all right. Saved up. We're gonna keep pushing forward a little bit. If nothing else, we can go look for some gimme ghouls and find some coins, hopefully. Just tag a couple more locations, you know, get near them to enable their fly ability here. Grab a hyper potion. Again, we've used a couple of healing items today, so it does help. I see we're headed properly in the direction of Glaciato Mountain here. Oh, good lord, Tag Tree Thicket is all the way over there. No, I haven't found any shiny Pokemon yet. Not in Scarlet, anyway. I found a good chunk of them in Violet. But, obviously, we're not playing that version right now. Get ourselves a coin. And a Hyper Potion. Oh, hey, it's Toddle. Let's try to catch this thing. I think it's kind of cute, although it does have a very weirdly shaped mouth. Start off by T-waving it. Oh, it's got a recoil move. We got to be a little bit careful about this fella, then. I'm sure we'll probably be okay. Yeah, it damage is alright, and it used Flail. However, we really can't hit it anymore. We're just going to have to chuck a Premier Ball and hope for the best. And if this fails, we'll try something else. But it did not fail. And we can, we get a little bit of, did we get Satotl grease from it? Are we out here doing whaling? Anyway, I got an easy name for this thing. Actually, I gotta, hold on. I mean, close enough. Unfortunately, I don't have enough space for the space in here, but we can still name it after the man, the myth, the legend, Duff McWhalen. It's like, I don't think I can, like, not do that, you know? Duff McWhalen was such a very interesting choice. Oh, it's taunting me. Well, ooh, I guess I can't Thunder Wave it for more damage. I'll just have to hit it with Flash Cannon. The old-fashioned way. So yeah, it might be a good idea for us to get a fly location at Glaciato Mountain. Ooh, that's a Chansey. Alright, put the worm at the front. Don't you be escaping too hard, buddy. Whoa, 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 whoa. It just fucking disappeared. Just poof into thin air. Into very round thin air. Into very egg-shaped thin air. I'm not specifically looking for them for this playthrough. I'll say that like shiny Pokemon are more like, well, it's nice, but that'd be more for a personal collection, so I'd probably break up my copy of Violet for that. So hold off on that until some other time, I suppose. But I appreciate it. I do like Magneton quite a bit, though. As you can probably guess, I'm using another one. Wow, I'm playing a Pokemon game and I'm using a Magneton if it's given to me. It's a pretty good Pokemon, to be fair. And there's a Frigibax. I think it's Frigibax in the first form and then Arctibax later. And then Baxcalibur by its final form. One time I got in a surprise... I think they're called surprise trades now and not wonder trades, but in my head they're always wonder trades. One time in a wonder trade, I did get a random level 1 Frigibax that was sent to me that was just nicknamed Joe with a question mark, and that's kind of fun. I've gotten all kind of interesting... you know, fun nicknames. The best one I've ever got, I've definitely talked about this before. Somebody Wonder traded a shiny Garbodor with zeros in all of its IVs and a burn heal attached to it that was nicknamed Banned in all caps. Yes, I've definitely gotten more than my fair share of Pokemon with URL names. Those are definitely like hacked mons. Those are dumps by various people who use the Pokemon hacking, and there's probably websites that are specifically set up to use services like that. By that I assume, yeah. His name's your waifu. Nice. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Machamps.com is just like the one that is strangely the funniest out of any of those that we've ever gotten. Between me and him. Random Magnemites. I'm sorry, I'm just sort of like stretching out a bit of a path here to look for like just one last landmark. Or accidentally fumbling my way into Tag Tree Thicket and having my game just barf all over itself. Oh god, I wasn't sure what those were at first. It's a couple of Pyroars. But all I saw was like a big wavy red thing. So I didn't see the rest of the body or didn't process it properly at first. Whoa! Watch out for that horse. We didn't watch out for that horse. Well, that's right. You have less attack. Horse. Hans Solo. Yeah, Tav and I, over our surprise trades that we did for Gen 8, we got a couple of hack site mons. One of them was named Machamps.com, and another was named Gengars.com. And we're pretty sure that there's an Alakazam and a Golems one out there too. But I don't think we've ever got either of those, which is a bit surprising. Because both of us spent enough time surprise trading, and there's enough of that that's just like hack mons. Anyway. Zapapico, right. I almost forgot about this town because there's no gym here, but this is the place that you go to in order to get the parts to get Armor Rouge and Cerule Edge. For those of you who want those, which they're not bad Pokemon, but we've already got our fire type pretty much pinned down, haven't we? So yeah, anyway. With all that traced out here, I'm going to save, and that is going to be enough streaming of this game for tonight.